So it looks like the way things are aiming, that Monday is the time that Johnatan Kleck pops back up on YouTube with, I mean, the greatest story that you've ever heard in your entire life. And you know that you can't make this stuff up. And you know that you cannot even possibly think up the story that Johnatan Kleck from YouTube, America's top next Messiah candidate, contestant. I mean, he's not even a candidate. He's just the contestant, the one that has been set in place to take that rulership for 3 days. So he's going to come up tomorrow on Monday, on September 7th, and he's gonna have this cockamania story. Whatever the story is, let's start as to what will definitely happen. What will definitely happen is he's gonna pop up after at least these 3 days, because he's been missing, and he's gonna give you an excuse as to why he couldn't get on YouTube and make a video, because he'd already told you he'd be there within 24 to 48 hours since October 3rd. And because this guy is playing the Messiah in the world, I'm keeping track of how he does his little things and what he talks about, so that way everybody else can know that this is one of the biggest frauds in the world. Stephen James is the other one. But I see the purpose of what he's doing. Kleck, I see the purpose of what he's doing, but he doesn't realize the purpose that God is using him for. That's the difference between Kleck and Steve. There is going to be a story. Unlike Steve didn't explain when I started talking about his disappearing act exactly 30 days before, Kleck played his disappearing act. He came on after 11 days. He didn't say shit. Nothing even happened. Never played the video that he had of me for 23-24. For the 23rd and 24th day of October, he didn't say a word about it. Just like the Rockin' Robin song, didn't say a word. But Kleck is different. He has to explain himself. Steve doesn't have to explain himself. He just waits, sits back and waits until the end of the contest. So Kleck is definitely pointing towards Monday. His cat died Monday. He thinks something like that. And that book he found that had everything in the containers. It was like the next Monday, it was in his P.O. box. That's crazy, right? So, man, what's going to happen on Monday then? When he rises back up after somebody tried to kill him, somebody tried to have his parachute malfunction, something along those lines. When he rises back up after his coma, 3-day coma, maybe, right? Hit the ground, lost conscience. He died probably a couple times, like 3 hours at a time, 3 minutes, 33 seconds, something like that, where Johnatan Kleck dies. That's a story he's going to give you. Or he's literally going to try to tell you he was in the freaking belly of a fish. I mean, Paul Begley's already getting ridiculous right now, so telling you that angelic beings were seen in the White House, and reptilians, like, being serious, for real. So I think maybe they're trying to be as ridiculous as they possibly can to wake your ass up and be like, what the hell? So when Johnatan Kleck pops back up, he's going to have a story of a lifetime to tell you about his death, his burial, and resurrection, and who's responsible for tossing him off the airplane or something, not being ready. And then after he rises up and does his thing, then Trump is next. It's the social media, and then it's the mainstream, because Steve wasn't even really supposed to be like part of being seen as much as he is now that you guys know him because of me. He was kind of supposed to be kept secret underground, and I dug his ass up and then made him stand up and start exposing himself. And then he helped me understand, you know, other things in the world too, because of all his lying. And he's going to do the same situation towards the end. He waits until the end, though. Steve's waiting until 2024, you know. Ain't nothing going to happen until 2024, people. You want to see that sun go dark for a few hours or 3 days? Just wait until 2020. I mean, 1020. Just wait until the beginning of 2024. You'll see what happens then, on the 20th of October. And then, so in between there, it has to be the rapture, has to be the alien invasion, has to be World War III being declared, it has to be martial law, has to be some kind of peace agreement, it has to be some kind of reneging agreement. And everybody just has to, like, come against each other. Philadelphia has to get hit at least twice. Most likely 3 times, because it's 3 in a row. It's just 3 in a row. It's like towards the end, because it's 3, 2, 1 in a row. And when Kleck rises up, the next major news dominating event will happen. The only question is which one? Where is it at? Is it going to be in Texas? Well, maybe that's saved for the Eagles when they play the Cowboys on October 20th. Right at that time where I think it's Sunday night. Al Michaels, they were waiting for an explosion on the sideline. And so maybe that's the timeline right there, where that day, maybe that sun goes dark before the game for 3 hours, right? Maybe that happens, or maybe just the sun just doesn't rise back up after the 20th. Once this major other news dominating event, the complete catastrophe destruction, happens at what's the field? It's the name of a telephone company. Dallas Cowboys Field? Is it like Bell Atlantic or AT&T? Is it something like that? Yeah, it's something like that. Which means when that building gets hit, at the same time, so does everyone's phone power, like the phone from your carrier. But before that, when Philadelphia gets hit, the Comcast building, that's when our Comcast cable Wi-Fi shuts off. So the Wi-Fi is going to shut off first with the destruction on 10-7 or 10-10. I'm still debating on which day, whether Kleck pops up tomorrow, Monday, on 10-7, and it's the building time there, or it's Thursday, 10-10, when Steve wins, because that's the first, second, 2-3 bypass, where the first woe, second woe, third woe happens. So between those the timeline, this 13 days basically, between the next 13 days, all these events, they'd have to start taking place. If they don't take place, then I guess that's not the timing, is it? But man, Kleck is playing the 3 days. He told you. You can feel it. You can see that that's the whole agenda behind it. Promising you he has an end time. He has an end time message that's going to be mind destroying, and also he has to play Christ, the role where he dies for 3 days and then rises up for the next 40. We're at that time where the next 40 days is ready to start. We just have to have that fictitious death, rumor or whatever the story's going to be. So when you see this happening, right, you actually see Johnatan Kleck getting up, explaining himself, just like I said he would. I don't know how he's going to change it. I don't know how he can switch it, because I know he listens. I know him and Steve are the two good buddy kings that are speaking lies at one table. But at the same time, what the hell can he possibly come up with? What else could he say? Did he get struck by lightning on walking down the shore? It just makes more sense the way he's been hinting around it. Talking about Jonah and talking about how Peter picked up Christ on the side of the water shoreline. The only sign you're going to get is that of Jonah, where he's in the belly of the fish for 3 days. That's Kleck's words, not mine. Mine is you get warned like Nineveh did, and then you wait outside of the city for 8 years to see what the frick is going to happen. Because you warned them the first time. Nothing happened, and Jonah was a little displeased because he kind of wanted to see what he was saying was going to happen, and then it didn't. And then 144,000 repented from the king down, from the camp of the saints, herald camping saints. From the king down, they repented. And representing on earth here with the truth. And then Jonah had to wait outside of the city on the east side. On the east side. Not in the south side where Texas is. Not in the north where Michigan is. On the east side. Like where Philadelphia is. Like in that area. You had to wait there for a while to see what's going to take place. So once he takes place over there in the east, when he sees these events happening, then he's going to see the rest of all the warnings that he had to all the people. He's going to see it unfold. That's why he sat on the east side to wait and see what's going to happen 8 years later.